All right, good afternoon, people from YouTube land. So it's been a while since I done a long video. This is going to be about my 2001 4runner and the front diff debacle. You're probably wondering what's going on. Why was I yelling in the video? I'm going to show you this, do a little walk around. I got a sun visor and something. I got some new tires. I put junior size footballs in the rear springs, just work them in there. Put a cheech of air in there, not a lot, just a pound maybe, and I got the new Falcon tire. So it really makes it set to attention there with the footballs, and it really makes me happy for no apparent reason. So not a lot's changed. Got the sun visor. So here's the parts one. Got a blown motor, head gasket, somebody disassembled everything. Now it's just like that. So so this truck here, I blew out the front diff and CV shaft. We have a back up here. See, my son here is trying to get me to go catch a chick. So this area between the two barns, the wind just blows through here over toward the black van and makes a drift. It kind of starts low here, gets deeper and deeper. So I came up the driveway over here, tried to take a loop around through the deep snow. I was going to pull up right there by the garage and unload the family. It was late at night. It was cold, 10 degrees maybe. 10 at night, I don't know, 9:30. It was pitch black, dark, and cold, and I stuck her in four-wheel. Tried to get through there. I got buried to the seals. I was doing left and right steering. I was in four low. I heard a tooth leave the differential, and I'm like, well, we crossed that bridge now. There's no going back. So I assumed it was one of the pinion teeth going off the crown wheel there, and I just floored it. I nailed it, and pieces flew. It rattled, it shook, it crunched, it ground. It was a mess, and but I got out. Next morning, I pulled it in here. There was CV shaft grease and bulb parts and separator bits and everything laying in the snow. And the next spring, we found gobs and handfuls of grease and more balls and bits and pieces. And so the next day, I put a new CV in. I was pretty happy, even though I'm usually depressed and when it's cold out. Don't have any energy. It's freezing cold, no heat in here, except for the radiator. That guy. So put a new CV. No, let me see. I don't know what vehicle I drove. That's kind of my question. So I put a new AutoZone CV in it. Pulled out here in the snow. Put it in four-wheel drive. And just sat there and ground and ground and ground. And I'm like, wait a sec. Because this says the 2001 has a center locking differential. The 99 Limited had that, and then the 2001 and on, they all had it. And I'm like, yeah, it's a center diff. I'll just put it in. I'm just getting over being sick. I'll put it in, and I'll lock the four-wheel drive. The center locking diff. I'll lock the center diff. So I locked the center diff, and it drove. And it was still crunching ground because it was trying to circulate teeth through the, I'll show you here. Trying to circulate gear teeth through the ring and pinion. Wonder if I could get some light in here. And then with the ADD and everything, I went out on the road and I put it in four-wheel, unlocked it, and it ground. So I realized that the problem is in the front diff. I also realized that I could put it in two-wheel drive and just drive it. So for the next year and a half, I just ignored everything and drove it. I didn't change the oil. I didn't try to do anything to fix it. I just drove. And it would grind and pop and yank the wheel, and that just committed my life into the Lord's hands every time before I left, because I knew that I'm serious. I actually am serious. I didn't have any money to fix this problem. I know it was crazy. And I'm like, and And I am a little bit depressive. I will admit that. This is not, I'm not recommending this. This is not the right thing to do. It's what I did at the time. I was too depressed to try and dive into it. I was overwhelmed. I didn't have the money to hire a mechanic and just did not have the wherewithal to do it myself. So I ignored it. For the next year and a half, I drove it. It popped, it bound up, it made terrible noises. And over time, of course, every time it made a terrible noise, it made that piece into smaller pieces. So the noises got smaller and a little bit farther apart. So after a year, I changed the oil. When I did that, see here, it's these pieces back here. So you know where the oil plug is. It's gonna be that guy right there. Ugh. So I'm gonna go through these parts, and I'm gonna after this, I'll probably just throw all this stuff away. So find me on Facebook, and I'll sell you whatever you need for a low price. So I pulled the plug out, and the end was mushroomed, and it came out with all the threads. This gear right here is inside that hole. So, and this is the driver's side. So the driver's side CV axle, for some unknown reason, maybe it's made that way, maybe it always is. The driver's side wheel was still turning the differential. So that meant that I'll show you what happened. There's no gear teeth on these spider gears. So the spider gear teeth are circulating through the ring and pinion, circulating through these guys. And one of these is chipped. Right there you can see it's chipped. So, here. I'll get my headlamp, since I don't have a fancy GoPro and all of that. Usually I just wear that. So that had a teeth knocked out. And I'll go into some other things that I showed in the YouTube short. So I know that this housing's junk, and I could see that these teeth were still here. So that made me wonder. So this is the selector ring that engages the automatic disconnect differential, otherwise known as the ADD. So maybe this only disconnects one axle. I don't quite understand it, to be honest with you. So after driving it for a year, I changed the oil, let a bunch of the sparklies out. It was stiff. The oil was stiff with metal. All right, so, and after 2 years, another half year of driving with fresh oil, I finally took this apart to see what's inside, because, well, I bought that parts 4runner. There's a bunch of the other pieces. You got to understand, though, that there probably are, here's another tooth. There's probably a whole lot more metal that actually came out the first time I changed the oil. Which I will tell you right now, that when I did change the oil, I was not interested in seeing what's inside. I just said, let's change the oil, pull the plug, we'll fill it, we'll just ignore it, keep ignoring it. Hopefully we won't die in the process. So, here's the differential. This is the spider gear pin. The housing's cracked right here. There's it's pretty cool. You can still see the paint from where they set the gears. There's multiple big nicks and big marks, chips from gear teeth, big scars on the differential carrier from teeth being circulated through it. Now this pin over here is also loose, not nearly as bad. And this gear here has got no teeth. That's been circulating, that's been going down the highway at 60 miles an hour. And then the other teeth are all chipped. So there's a good probability you'd have to expect that. Oh, that's worn too. You have to understand that these other teeth circulated. There's one missing, one chipped. They've been circulating gear teeth through themselves for, you know, however far your average driver drives a car in a year. So, most of the other things are okay, like you'll see, I mean, relatively so. The bearing races are a dull color. You can definitely see scarring on these teeth. Honestly, I had this thought of just welding this center section, slap it together and see how it goes. The shift motor on this I rebuild, and it's actually back here. Okay, that's all the parts. It's all the parts from the front diff. Okay, now I'm going to show you. There's the ADD motor. I got that all completely rebuilt. This is a transfer case shift motor, and that is every bit as pitted as it looks in the camera. It's amazing to me. I haven't even taken this motor out. I don't know what that looks like. So this hole here has another switch just like this. These are usually the guides that go bad. They'll get waterlogged or whatever. And this one was junk. And these shift motor contactors were junk. So that was probably the difficult, hesitant shifting issue I've had. So this, I do need this part for sure. Probably find a used one and then rebuild that. There's some other bits and bobs are from this. So I'm gonna have to for sure find one of those. So the Toyota out there is a 99, I believe. I don't quite remember. And that would have a vacuum shifted ADD. So this ADD, maybe I should just show you the shifter motor a little bit better. So instead of having a vacuum canister, it's got this little motor. It basically looks the same as the other one. So that's all good. Looks a little nasty in there from all the oil and you know what it's been through. So if I'm lucky, I'll just be able to use this electric shifter in place of the vacuum shifter. So I wanted to do this video for you guys before I just throw all this stuff out. So getting the differential out, this flange here was catching. So if I was thinking you could take this flange off to make it easier to drop the diff out. But this setup here uses a crush sleeve, just like you would be familiar with the domestic vehicle. So yeah, that sits on there, and then this guy here, this guy here sits on there. So don't take your flange off. If you've got the same idea as me, don't take that off, because you'll destroy the preload setting for the thrust bearings and all that. So don't do that. I don't know. Some people, I think, take the motor mounts loose and then just jack the engine up an inch or two. Okay, so here's the front diff, the CVs. So I'm gonna have some spare CVs, which is nice. So basically, I don't know, that you can see what I've seen so far. I want to pressure wash that and then bring it inside. Pull the drain plugs, set the water out. Yeah, some hubcaps and different stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm renting here, so I can't just have this 4runner here forever. So I'm going to take off what I need. Oh, like my antenna's junk. This one here's bent. The motor doesn't work either. So I might salvage that. I need a wheel speed sensor. I'll salvage that. Maybe I'll take the roof bows off and paint those and then just move them over on mine. I stole the bug deflector. Yeah, I've got slightly different tail lights, you know, and different things. I wish this had the sport hood. That'd be pretty cool, obviously. Every Toyota guy knows that you want a sport hood. Whether or not you do have a supercharger or anything doesn't matter. Somebody's getting a coach ride today. That's a Pennsylvania travel coach. So that pretty much covers everything. I know I hate it when people do it in videos, but I'm trying to take a minute to think. Wanted to show you guys anyway. Some people thought I was crazy, and some people didn't really like the language, so I didn't know what to think of it myself. But hey, if you're here watching, I really appreciate it. I don't really have anything to say other than that I did some stupid things, and God has protected my life and my family, and I would like to live in such a way that He can continue to do so. So that's really it. I'll probably take that other YouTube short down, and that's that. Did I say I'll put that 4runner up for salvage. People want to buy parts off of it and then salvage it, just sell it to the junkyard. Yeah, so I'll probably put it on Marketplace, let people salvage stuff off, and then make a few hundred off of it, and just send it to the yard. And then I'll probably pretty much get my cost. I got $900 in it, truck rental, and $600 for the. Yeah, so I'm like in like $950 or something. So that's that. Thanks for watching. If you want any of these parts, they'll be on my scrap pile. I don't have the time, energy to list everything on Marketplace or otherwise, so I guess they'll get sacked and chucked. And thank you guys for watching. God bless you, and I hope He keeps you guys safe too, because I don't know. I honestly believe in my heart of hearts that if anything actually locked up bad enough to seize a differential, that the CV would probably break. So what I did is I took here. I gotta show you guys what I did before I leave. Whew, what a miserable video to watch. So what I did to drive this truck is I took the CV cup, just this part here. One of them I just cut it, broke it apart. One was broken. I put these CV stubs into the front suspension so that I could keep driving it. And I took the drive shafts out and unplugged the shifters and everything. That was like my last ditch thing to do until I could figure out the direction to go with the whole fixing the thing. So anyway, that's what I did. So I could have done that. I should have done that right away, but just did not feel like freezing to death out here on a concrete floor all by myself. Nobody really seemed to care, you know. Anyway, guys, God bless you. We'll see you in the next one.